Sometimes a player comes from the high school ranks, the college ranks, and they're so good. You can't process how good they'll be at the NFL level, and you kind of speculate, are they going to bust? Are they going to exceed expectations? You go one way or the other. This might be the greatest player of all time. This is a generational prospect. Or you catch people on the opposite end of the spectrum saying, hey, this guy's guaranteed to bust. He's not going to live up to expectations. Look at him. Look at this. Look at that. He was drafted high. He's on a bad team now. Nothing's good going to come out from him. You guys are just overzealous on this player, and you're catching it every which way on this player. And this player this year that we're seeing from this year's draft, you know who I'm talking about, is Bijan Robinson. And he's a very, very fascinating running back prospect because he was very productive at the college level. Looks good on tape. Looked good on his highlight film coming from high school. Matter of fact, we've been waiting on him to come out for the NFL level. Even when he was in high school, he was that good. He was that superb. He's that type of player that you just wait on and wait on. Then they finally come out to the draft, and people start nitpicking him. And now we get to see the rubber hit the road. We're going to take a look at the stats here. Before we do, you got to hit that subscribe button right now. Stop missing out on these deep dives of these players to help you get the information, to help you build your fantasy team, help you get in the know of who to draft, who to pick up on waivers, who to start on your lineups, who to bench, who to not pay attention to, who to not care, who to sell to your league mates, whatever it is. It's going to be right here. Hit that button. Stop missing out. But the story of Bijan Robinson came a long time ago. But when he was coming out of high school, 5-star recruit, everybody wanted him. There's video after video after video of him making crazy catches, working out. He already came out of high school with the requisite size. Every school wanted him. Top-tier programs. He was so good, not all the schools were trying to get him because they knew they couldn't. Bijan Robinson was that type of athlete, and is still that type of athlete that everybody wants. Everybody wants him in fantasy right now. Such a good prospect coming out of high school, and everybody was wondering what's going to happen because we get a lot of prospects like this who are labeled 5-star that don't hit, but he hits, especially the last 2 years, 2021, 2022, over 1,000 yards rushing, 1,500 yards last year, and in 2020 he flashed. He flashed and looked good too as a freshman at the collegiate level, playing for Texas, looking good, was used in the passing game, very productive. He's also very efficient, led all running backs, and missed tackles forced last year with 104. That's hard to do, and usually when you see a running back get drafted high and lead in that mark and also hit on athleticism, usually they transition well to an NFL level, and our most recent running back that did that, who were drafted high, second-round pick, good athleticism, high end, missed tackles forced, was Kenneth Walker last year. Transitioned pretty quickly. Ton of yards after contact, 4.17 yards after contact per attempt last year, 5.09 as a freshman because he's efficient. He moves well. He moves laterally so well that he covers just about as much ground hopping to the right or the left as he does moving forward, and then he's quick off the step with that burst. And then catching the ball, he can catch it one-handed, he can catch it overhead, around him. He's like a wide receiver when he's in the slot, and then some because he's got that burst and athletic ability. But looking at him in the receiving game, look at him running a lot of routes, catching a lot of balls, getting you yards after the catch, and that is a huge metric for running backs. Yards after the catch per reception, 11.2 on his career, 10.6 last year with more volume, 10.7 the year prior with a lot of volume. And good on the routes ran, good on the yards per route ran as well. Averaged at the target 6.8 last year. Proving that he can get targeted deep downfield, proving that he can run routes deep downfield, not just a check down specialist. Of course, this guy can run routes. He can break off routes, break off DBs, break their ankles. We saw this in training camp on one-on-one drills because we covered it right here. That's why you subscribe to this channel. Even in the offseason, I'm getting you right. You're getting looks of these rookies, of these players doing good things. But the volume's there in the receiving game. The efficiency is what matters. Why I like the yards after the catch per reception, the yak, is because when he gets the ball in space, and when you get the ball in space, catching the ball in the backfield, you usually have space. And he's able to turn on the burners and eat up yards. He shows that there. You see it on the highlights. You see it on the film. Film and highlights are two different things. Highlights are the top tier plays. The film is play to play. You're seeing the downside. You're seeing the high side. Everything checks the boxes. This is a good running back. This is a running back that you do not see every day. Looking at the profile here, drafted 8th overall to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons really don't have a business drafting a running back. They had a 1,000-yard rusher that was a rookie last year in Algier. They could have just rode with him, drafted somebody else, and just really built their team because they're really not in position to go running back right now, but they did anyways. Huge indication that they're wanting to use him. They're going to give him workload right now because this is a market you don't pay for running backs. You just don't do it. Look at Jonathan Taylor right now. Nobody wants to really pay for him. Nobody's going over the moon right now. We're seeing running backs sit on the market. They're not flipping over. There's a reason for that. The market's saying, hey, we're not paying for these running backs. 5'11", 215 pounds. If a team pays for a running back, they want that running back because the market says we don't pay for running backs. Now, look at the athleticism here. When you look at size-adjusted athleticism and compare to some of the other top backs like Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, he's a little bit lighter in the pants and a shade slower, but we still have top-tier athleticism. We still have good speed scores here. 90th percentile speed score, a good 40, a good burst score. Everything you really want. He's a little bit thinner, but he's got the requisite size. He's big enough to carry it between the tackles. He's big enough to run it downfield. He's big enough for everything. There's really no question marks when it comes to his size-adjusted athleticism. Comp to Marshawn Lynch. I don't think nobody looks at Marshawn Lynch at all, even during the early stages of his career or the latter part, and saying, hey, that's a running back I don't want. That's a running back that's not athletic. Marshawn Lynch was a very good running back in his day. Bijan Robinson is on his own level as well. Looking at the data here from running backs from 2006 to 2022, running backs who are drafted in the top 12 of the actual NFL draft tend to be productive during their rookie seasons. Usually, you'll get an RB2 season out of them. 10 out of 13 running backs drafted between now and 2006 gave you an RB2 season. Top 24. That's 77% chance. That's a good metric. That's a good thing to look at. And then you're looking for RB1 seasons. 8 out of 12, 62% shot here that he's an RB1. Top 12 in the league at the position. Top 12 running back here in points per game, points on the season. Bijan Robinson. 3 out of 13, 23% chance. Top 5. So the odds decrease. 1, the rookies. 1, there's a wake-up time in the season where things are ramping up and they hit on the back end. 2, it just takes some time. Sometimes they're on teams where they already got a running back and they just drafted this rookie and they're just seeing what happens. Another thing, some of these players are drafted on bad teams and it takes time for some of these players to develop, and usually it's year 2, year 3 when they're really hitting full stride. Even though they're being productive, that does not mean they're at their best. Now, looking at the Atlanta Falcons here, they like to run the football. They like to use their running backs. Look at the rush attempts here. 186, 139. Even if they still want to use Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson can still be productive. And another thing that's a huge indicator here for Bijan Robinson is they don't have very many pass-catching running backs here, or any running backs that were heavily used in the passing game last year. That's probably something they wanted to implement. So they drafted Bijan. It gives them another weapon to use in the short to intermediate parts of the field, considering you got Kyle Pitts and Drake London there. So you got some deep threats there. You got him over the short to intermediate. Really helps spreads things out north and south. When you're passing the football, gives them some opportunities there. Look for him to be running some routes. Look for him getting a large amount of carries because you're not parking this running back in the garage and just waiting. They might. We see teams do dumb things. That is one thing to say. But from what we've seen, from what their hand has been shown, they're not parking this Corvette in the garage. They're going to use him how he's intended to be, or at least in the passing game and getting the rock between the tackles a bit. He's going to get his opportunity. He's expensive, though. That is the thing about him. He's being drafted like 8th overall in ADP per underdog best ball. Might be cheaper in home leagues due to him being a rookie. You might get a rookie discount. Maybe fall to early second, late first. People are drafting him. Then you hear stories of him going 101, 102, 103. People are all over the board with Bijan Robinson. There are some people that will not touch him because he's a rookie, and there's some people who are over the moon because we've been waiting for him to come to the NFL since he has been in high school, and we were watching him at Texas. In Devy Fantasy Football, he was ranked as the top prospect for like 3 years straight. People has been waiting for him to come out to the NFL, and they've been waiting to draft him. In 2 QB rookie drafts, people did not care about the quarterback position. They wanted to draft Bijan 101. They did not want to hear about the quarterbacks. They were drafting Bijan. They were not being Bayesian. This is the guy they've been wanting. They were going to get him no matter what. The price is high, and it will skyrocket even more if he hits, which in redraft it can only go as high as the draft price. But if he hits in the first few weeks, his price will go nuclear. People have been watching him forever, waiting for this moment to happen. You need him because you need a top running back prospect. He's young, catches the ball out of the backfield. You see him, you've been watching him, you want him, you know what you want, you're going to go get him. And if you want him, you don't need me to talk about him. You're just using me for confirmation, and you're going to go get him. But you don't need him because you want somebody else. You want somebody else. It's not like there's other good players to look at here. There's not like there's other good running backs, wide receivers. You may need to go quarterback. It might be a 2 QB league. There might be somebody else you want. And that's fine. That's okay. You're not into rookies. You don't want to wait for them to develop. You don't want to wait a couple weeks for them to really hit the ground running. You don't want to wait. You don't want to risk that. You don't care because there's other players on the board. That's okay. That's okay. This isn't a video to sell you on Bijan Robinson. I'm here to sell the information so you can make your own choice. You can make your own decision. Decide what you want to do. Decide how you want to move forward. My job is to give you the information. And if you don't want them, you don't need them. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. But all in all, we do have a good running back here, a good prospect. And I say prospect because these are still prospects, these rookies who are coming out. And the upside's grandioso. Maybe RB1 by the end of the year. Maybe the top running back in all of football. That might instantly happen. Again, he could be just a rookie doing rookie things, and the big time may not happen till the last part of the year. That could happen too, and you just wasted a top draft pick waiting for a bit, and he hit last 5 weeks of the season, but you missed out on the first 10 or so. So it's up to you what you want. Bijan Robinson, though, he's the truth. He looks good on tape, looks good in high school, college, numbers check out, the athleticism numbers check out, the production checks out, everything's checking the box, the draft capital, the opportunity, everything is there. But he is very expensive, and I can understand anyone pivoting or just diving all in. It's whatever you want to do. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.